So having the knees wide just gives you a little bit more space in child's pose to extend the arms forwards and just try coming up onto the fingertips. And here we have a blanket for the forehead, just under the brow. Making sure the back of the neck is long. And as you maybe feel as if you're lengthening the arms forwards just a little bit more, don't lift the hips too much. Can you start to take the breath even into the base of the rib cage? Feeling the back of the pelvis broaden with your breath. Releasing tension in the belly. And the throat and the jaw. And see if you can begin to match the length of the exhale with the length and the quality of a smooth and steady inhale. And take one more breath here. And then you can keep the right arm where it is, or you can try walking it in towards the midline of your mat a little bit more. We're going to take it into a twist. So thread the left arm underneath, and you can just turn the head to the left, to the right rather, resting it on the blanket if that's comfortable. So we're still extending the right arm forward and coming up onto the fingertips, push down into the fingertips so this right shoulder blade can wrap back onto the rib cage. And breathe into your twist. If that's uncomfortable on the shoulder, you can always bend the right arm, elbow pointing to the ceiling. Have another breath this side. Start to take it back to the center, blanket under the brow, reaching both arms forwards for another breath in child. And then begin to thread the right arm underneath, turn the head facing to the left, resting the head on the cushion or the blanket if that feels good. And just feel as if you've lifted up onto the left fingertips and you can begin to wrap your left shoulder blade in towards the spine, getting a little more twist. And breathe into the twist. And then come back to the center, reach both arms forwards here. And then lift the head from the blanket, walk the hands over to the right, but keep your left sit bone pressing down. Take your left hand on top of the right hand and begin to just allow the hips to sink and breathe into the left side, the left lung, the left waist. Your head doesn't need to be on the floor here, you're just keeping that left hip bone pressing back towards the left heel. Take another breath. And then start to lift out, walk the hands over to the left, right hand on top of left hand, and bow. And try to keep that sense of rooting your right sit bone back towards the right heel. Breathe into the right side body. Relaxing through the neck, the head, the jaw. Have another breath. And begin to come back to the center and walk the hands back to the body. And if you're a little tight in the ankles, you could just fold the blanket into quite a nice flat sausage and pop the blanket underneath your feet, tops of your feet, your ankles, and see if you can sit back. Sit bones over the heels, nice and tall. Take the arms up, inhale, look up as you exhale. Come into a twist. So right hand can be on the floor if you can reach. I can't, so my right hand's on the sacrum, left hand on the right thigh.
Take your, no other way, just take your left hand onto your right thing. And then you can draw yourself through into a twist. Make the back of the neck long, crown of the head rises. Good. Take your next inhale through the center, arms up, and take it into a twist the other side. So my left hand's on my sacrum, and I've just got a little pressure of my hands into the body to take the twist deeper. Good. Next time you inhale to the center, lift the hips, lengthen the tailbone. And then see if you can tuck your toes under and sit back down, hands to the thighs. Intense toe stretch. Yeah, just see what happens. If that feels a little bit too much, you could move your blanket and just place it underneath the sit bones. That will keep you a little bit higher. So we're trying out, just taking the body into this intense toe stretch, so the toes tucked under. Nice, see if you can relax the upper body. We'll take another breath here. If you're finding it a bit intense, you can lift the hips, take the arms up, and then exhale, hands to the heart, sit back down. So you can take a few breaths like that. Inhaling, lengthen tailbone, look up. Exhale, hands to the heart, sit back down. So we're breaking up the intensity of that stretch. Inhale, look up. Exhale, sit down. If you want to stay with it, then just keep the hips low. Inhale, look up. Exhale. Hands to the heart. Just do one more breath. Sit nice and tall. Nice. And then bring the hands forward. You can just take the blanket out. And just lift your feet off the floor, circle your hands. Give them a little bit of love as you release them. Nice. So hands spread wide, fingertips pressing into the floor. We come into cat-cow. So as the shoulder blades draw back, lift the heart, broaden the sit bones. Inhale here, exhale. Push the hands into the floor and pull the belly up so you come into cat pose. Inhale, lengthen forwards, Uttanasana, cow pose. Exhale, push into the hands so the shoulders stay over the wrists. As you flex and extend through the spine, see if you can start to feel every vertebra move with each breath. Plenty of space for the neck and the head as you draw your shoulder blades back. And then rounding the spine. With your exhale, just do two more. Inhale, look forwards. Well done. And then with your next exhale, start to sit the hips back. And the inhale, we're going to inhale into cobra. So if you're building strength in your arms or you've got a little bit of shoulder pain, then you're going to come up and over, lifting the hips, taking them down, and coming into cobra heel. And then we're going to sit back down again. So that's your exhale to come back into child's. If you want a little bit stronger, then you're going to slide the nose, the chin, the chest along the mat and come into cobra with your inhale here. You can come back to the child's pose just by lifting the pelvis. So you're inhaling, sliding the body forwards into cobra. Inhale as you get here. Exhale, straighten the arms, lift the body, and take it back into child's pose. So just take a couple more like that, doing the version that suits you best this morning. You could try a couple of each and see. Keeping the elbows bent, pointing backwards as you draw your chest through. And see if you can get a little flow to the movement. So don't worry too much about being perfect in each pose. Just start to flow. Inhale, take it forwards. Exhale, take it back. Great. If it starts to feel too much on the arms, your triceps, then just lift the pelvis forwards, let it get heavy. Cobra and child. Great. And sit back into child's pose. And take the arms back, maybe take hold of the ankles. Let the head bow. And relax the shoulders towards the floor. Just let them go, let the head go. Don't worry if the hips lift. So start to take the body forwards again. This time we're going to come into plank. So the hands underneath the shoulders, nice and strong through the arms. Feel as if you're hugging a beach ball between your elbows. And then lifting the knees, pressing back through the heels, turning the belly. So here, as we inhale, we're going to push into the hands, come into a pike. So you're just lifting the hips into downward facing dog. So don't make it too complicated. Your exhale is going to take you back into plank. Look to the top of your mat, right on your tiptoes. So the inhale takes you back. And start to really notice the movement at your shoulders as the shoulders extend and flex as the chest comes over the hands. Good. Inhaling back into downward facing dog. So stay on the tiptoes, keep the hips high. Exhaling, turn the belly, look forwards. So a couple more breaths here. Keep the hands, the arms strong. Feel the muscles hugging into the legs. Warming up the body, warming up the shoulders. And then come back and rest in downward facing dog. You can drop to the knees if this is feeling like you need a break. So feel as if from the tips of your shoulder blades, you're rooting into your hands. Tone the belly, tone the lower ribs back. And then see if you can really get a sense of your shoulder blades drawing towards your hips. So the head, the neck release towards the mat. And then we'll start to walk the hands back to the feet, bending the knees deeply, starting to take the knees wide, come into Malasana, Golem pose. And see if you can start to lift the body. So we need a real strong core. And if the ankles feel wobbly, feel as if you're hugging the ankles towards each other. Great. Now, if you're more flexible than I am at the ankle, you might be able to take your heels down. That's not available to me without taking your feet much wider. So we'll bring the hands to the floor and start to press the hands into the knees. So the arms are on the inside, the arms are on the inside of the knees. And you're pressing elbows into knees and knees into elbows, but keeping the chest, the gaze lifted. We'll take it into a twist. So your right elbow is pressing onto the inside of the right knee. Start to turn the sternum and the belly to the left, and then take the left arm up. Have a breath here. Start to bring the left hand down, press left elbow, left knee. Start to twist and open to the right. Well done. Bring the right hand down. And then start to take it into Uttanasana, forward fold. It'll be a relief to get here. So letting the head release and just try bending and straightening the knees a little bit. So starting to loosen up the hamstrings, you can bend them, sit back, and then straighten them. Bend them, sit back, and straighten them. Yeah, as you straighten your legs, try not to lock the knees out. But it feels as if you're toning your belly and lengthening the spine. Lovely. One more. And then we'll sit the hips back and take the arms alongside the ears. So be looking down at the mat for now. And start to pull the belly up away from the thighs. Start to really feel stronger through the torso. Stay low in the hips. And begin to take the gaze forwards, the sternum forwards, chair pose, Uttanasana. Just have another breath here. Feel as if you're drawing the belly back and pressing your thumbs back behind you. Gaze forwards, not at the floor. Lovely. Let's have another breath. And then begin to push, root down into the feet. Lovely. Urdhva Hastasana. Look up. Circle the arms back. And come into mountain pose. Lovely. So if you have a strap handy, Then grab a strap. You can do it without, or it could be a dressing gown belt. And we just open up the shoulders just a little. So in standing, when we do some shoulder opening like this, the tendency is that we lock out the knees, that the belly drops forwards, because it feels quite nice to do that. But we want to really focus on bringing pubic bone to navel, stabilizing the torso. So you want to feel as if you're pulling the rib cage down towards the hips towards the rib cage, lengthening the tailbone. And so your foundation is very much mountain pose. So pushing your feet into the floor, lengthen tailbone, draw belly in, shoulders back, stand nice and tall. So give yourself space on the strap so your hands can be even wider than your shoulders to start. And keeping that real connection with your abdominal muscles, drawing back towards the spine, take the arms overhead. Good. So this might be enough for you. You can give yourself as much strap as you need to. If it starts to get a little bit difficult, try not to come out of the mountain pose foundation. So it's really easy here to kind of let the belly go. So pull the belly back, root into your feet, and start to explore taking your hands behind your head. And again, you might need to give yourself a little bit more strap, that's fine. That's it, trust it. Your shoulders are designed to do this. If you have a shoulder pathology, then you're just going to keep your arms above your head. So be careful, trust your body. Start to really pull the belly back, root into the feet, so don't let your body up. Nice. And if it feels available to you, bring the hands all the way behind you. Nice, keep the collarbones open. If you need more space between your hands, give it to yourself. Take the hands wider and start to explore coming all the way up and overhead. Keep tension in the strap as you bring it forwards. Good, so we'll do that again. Drawing belly back, rooting into the feet, taking the arms overhead. If that's available, give yourself as much space as you need to. Your hands can be really wide on your strap. And if you happen to be using a TheraBand, then you can really stretch it. Great, let's do one more. Come all the way back. Yeah, and then all the way over. Nice. So come to the front of your mat. Start to take the arms overhead. And draw the belly back into mountain pose. Good. Now this is going to take a little bit of balance. I'm just going to move my mat a little bit further away from the mantelpiece. So drawing the tummy muscles back, keeping open through the chest. If you want to, you can do this without the strap and be just opening the arms wide. Start to take the weight into the right foot and lift the left knee. So this is quite tricky to balance. So drawing the belly in, keeping the gaze focused. What we're going to do is to step the left foot back into a lunge, but keep the heart lifted, the shoulder blades open, the collarbones open. Take it back into Anjaneyasana. And here again, the tendency is to let the belly release forwards, the back to arch deeply. So can you draw the tummy muscles back, lengthen the tailbone, make the back leg strong. And then start to take the gaze up. Hug into the midline for a little bit of stability. Well done. And then keep the arms straight. Start to reach the hands forward. So you start to bow towards that front knee. And you're going to step into the front foot, lift the knee. And then release the foot, release the strap. And just circle the shoulders and a little bit of a break. So you can do this without the strap if you want to. If it feels too strong on your shoulders, that's absolutely fine. So let's take it up again and a little bit behind, if that's available to you. So we need to really focus the gaze for balance, draw the front of the body towards the spine, stabilizing the torso. Take the weight into the left foot and lift the right knee. Good, feel as if you're hugging everything into the midline, and then start to feel that you can step that into a long lunge. So the front knee soft with control, stepping back, and then pull belly in, lengthen tailbone, lunging through the front knee, take the gaze up. In through the shoulders, take a deep breath. Begin to bow forwards, offering the straps forwards, and we'll step into the left foot. Good. Hands overhead, and release the foot. Take the arms up over Hastasana, and as you reach the hands up, look up and you root into the feet. And again, the tendency is to want to turn the sternum to the ceiling when you let go of all this energy around the front of the body. So start to really pull the belly back. So the lift comes from the base of the rib cage and not from the lumbar spine. Good. Start to exhale and fold. You can drop the strap now. Yeah. Into a forward fold. Good. Inhale, lengthen, look forward. Hands can be to the shins. Good. And exhale, hands to the floor, step the left foot back, drop the left knee. Good. Start to inhale, reach the hands up, and then start to circle the arms back. Great. So palms up, thumbs reaching towards each other. Great. Can you feel a lift in the front of the armpits? Look up. Lengthen tailbone, supporting the spine with the belly muscles. Great. And then take the left hand to the back of the left thigh, sweep the right arm up. Again, toning the belly. Can you bring the left side of the rib cage forward so you're keeping the body square to the mat? Good. One more. Inhale here, and then exhale, hands forwards. Onto the floor, lift the back knee, step back down, we're facing down. Nice, root from the tips of the shoulders into the hands. Inhale forwards into plank. You can drop to the knees here, or you can see how it feels to lower the body to the floor. Press the feet into the floor, inhale, cobra. Good, tuck the toes, plank. And then inhale back into downward facing dog. Nice, take a steady breath here, look forwards and step into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, the crown lengthens forwards. Exhale and fold. Sweep the arms up and wide. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Great. Inhale. And rise again. Supporting, feel as if you're knitting the lower ribs into the belly button back to the spine. And then we're going to step the other foot back. Right foot back. Think. Let's try it. Opening up the heart. I think we've stopped. And feel as if you're reaching your thumbs towards each other. Opening up through the front of the armpits. Great, so you can have your hands shoulder height. So we've got this sense of opening in a line from thumb to thumb, toning the belly back. And then drop the back knee. Keep the arms up, open up, turn it slightly differently on this side. And then take the right hand to the right thigh, sweep the left arm alongside your ear. And see if you can get this lift through the sternum, but the lift comes at the back of the shoulder blades and not the lower back. So we've got this toning of the belly as you lift the heart. Nice. Bring the right hip, the right rib cage to point forwards. Sweep both arms up. Exhaling, hands to the floor, step back into downward facing dog. Well done. Inhale forwards into plank, lower to the belly. Inhale into cobra. Good. Exhale. And bring your left arm along the mat and reach back to your right foot. So here we want to lift the front of the armpit away from the floor, squeeze the shoulder blade in towards the spine. And just like we did a moment ago, can you bring your right ribs to point forward? So we're squaring the body to the mat. The right hip presses into the floor. Good. Now push the foot into the hand into the foot, and see if the knee and maybe the bit of the thigh lifts away from the floor. Keep pressing the pubic bone down into the floor, toning the belly. Nice. And then release. And just press back into child for a moment. Keeping the hands reaching forwards, the sit bones reaching to the heels. Puff up the back of your body with your breath. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Come forward into plank, inhale, exhale, lower to the belly, inhale, cobra. Exhale, release the body, bring the right arm across the mat, but keep the chest lifted. So your elbows under your shoulder, and you're pushing the forearm down into the floor. So you've got a lift here. Reach back to the left foot to ankle, and then bring your left hip to the floor, looking forwards, feeling as if the chest is pointing forwards as well. So we're not lifting away and rolling onto the right hip. Tone the belly so it comes out of the low back, and just try pushing your foot really firmly into the hand, and maybe the thigh lifts a little bit. Right, look forwards, back of the neck long. Take another breath. And release, hands either side of the chest. Start to press back into child's pose, hands reaching forwards. Breathe into the back body. You could try coming onto the fingertips, making a room around the armpits. Maybe letting the head release. And breathe into the spine, into the back of the rib cage. And then tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg to the ceiling, bend the knee, and stack the hips. So you're looking out underneath your right armpit. You could even come onto the fingertips of the right hand. Good. And squeeze the heel towards the sit bones, lift the knee a little higher. Good, straighten that leg, straighten the top leg. Good, start to bring the right foot next to the left. And then we'll lift the left leg. Bend the knee as if you were going to touch the heel to your right glute. Come onto the fingertips of the left hand and stack the hips, open up, looking out under the left armpit. Great, let's take another breath here. Keep the right arm strong, the right hand pressing into the floor. Well done. And then square the hips as you straighten that leg. And we're going to step the left foot forwards. So start to draw the belly up away from the front thigh, reach the arms alongside the ears, and then begin to lift the torso. Stay low through that front thigh. Start to draw the belly back, so you're lengthening the tailbone, but keep the back leg firm. Draw the shoulder blades down and see if you can start to take the arms behind you, lifting up the heart. Good. So this time, bring your left hand to the back of your right thigh. Now I can't quite do that, so I'm going to have the left hand to the back of my right hip. But if you can, have the hand on the thigh and start to reach up through the right. Keep lunging deeply through that left knee and take the gaze up. Bring the left hand to join the right. Good. Interlink the hands behind you and roll the shoulder blades into the back of the heart. Lift up the chest and then start to bow. So your left shoulder is coming on the inside of your left knee. You can drop this knee down if you need to. Keep the hands lifting away from the floor, squeezing the shoulder blades in for one last breath. And then bring the hands to the floor on the inside of that left foot. And just bow. Great, and then start to plant the hands, take it back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right foot to the ceiling, exhale, step it forwards. Start to take that arms alongside the ears, so you're lunging deeply through this right knee, but toning the belly, squeezing everything into the midline. Keep the lower body strong as you bring the gaze up, the heart lifts, the belly tones, so knitting your lower ribs towards the belly. Okay, start to take the arms behind, opening up the chest, the heart, palms to the ceiling. Nice. Take another breath. Take your right hand to the back of the left thigh or the left hip, if that's easier. So you're really wrapping that right arm, shoulder behind you, left arm up. Keep the back leg strong. Steady breath as the gaze lifts if you can. Great. And then bring the hands together behind your back. You could interlink the thumbs if that feels better. For you, just hooking the thumbs into each other and pressing them together to get this lift and opening in the front of the shoulders, or you can interlink the hands. Lovely. Inhale, look up, and then we'll start to bow. Squeeze into the midline for stability, and take the right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Can you lift the hands towards the ceiling? You can always flatten the back foot into more of a warrior one stance if that feels better for you. Move the arms towards each other, one more breath. Well done, hands to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Steady the breath. Let's inhale forward into plank and lower to the belly. So here we're going to try bow pose. If Dhanurasana, if you feel like it's too much for you, come back into this single side one at a time. Thigh stretch, pressing foot into hand. Otherwise, we'll try catching one foot and then the other foot. And then see if you can bring your knees in line with your hips, so don't let them swing out too wide. And hug the feet towards each other. As the shoulder blades draw in towards the spine. Now draw the pubic bone towards the navel, so we want to really tone the belly. And then you can start to press the feet into the hands and lift. Maybe the thighs come off the floor. Steady the breath, really pushing firmly, feet into hands, squeezing the shoulder blades in. Well done. Let's take another 2 breaths. Well done, you're there. And then release. And just release the feet and the hands. Turn the cheek to one side and let everything just settle. You could always rock the pelvis from side to side. And see if you can steady the breath. If you want to, reach back into child's pose. For another stretch, then go ahead and do that. If you want to do that one more time, Dhanurasana together, then come with me. So we'll start to come up, tone the belly. So the belly is really going to protect the low back here. Reaching back from your feet. I know I can't do that very elegantly, I'm afraid. So then I need to start to get the knees in line with the hips, the shins in line with the thighs. And then I can start to work on lifting the chest, the heart, lifting the thighs, pushing the feet into the hands. Nice. And take a couple of steady breaths. Go into child's pose if you come out of it. One more breath. And then release, turn your head the other way. Letting everything just release into the mat, rocking the pelvis. Take another breath here. And then bring the hands either side of the chest and sit back into child's pose. Have the knees wide. If you want to grab a blanket to pop it behind the hips, then go ahead and do that. And in fact, if it is there, maybe we can bring it back under the head, just like we did at the beginning of class. So the blanket underneath the brow, back of the neck stays long. And start to really draw the breath deeply into the back of the body. So feel the back of the ribs, the back of the waist, and even into the back of the pelvis. Broaden and open with the inhale and release and relax on the exhale. Another 2 breaths. And then start to lift the head. It's nice to just sit up on the blanket so you can make it a tiny bit lower and take the blanket behind your sit bones as you sit. And have the right ankle tucked in towards the left sit bone. See if your sit bones can rest evenly on the floor so you're not rocking into your right hip too much. And then hug your left heel into the right shin. So sometimes we'll do Ardha Matsyendrasana with the foot stepped over. This time, it's a slightly more open version. Sit really tall, hug your right elbow over the left knee. Keep that left knee pointing to the ceiling, left fingertips behind and take it into a twist. Yes, you're hugging the knee in. You might be able to hook the knee in your elbow. Up to unravel. So this right foot's going to come away from the body, sole to sole with your feet into Cobra Pose or Baddha Konasana. And you can hook the big toes or your feet. You can take hold of the whole of the toes. And just allow the elbows to rest on the shins and bow the head. Make sure it's not pulling uncomfortably on your back. And just allow a little sense of melting through the spine. One more breath. And then start to lift the chest. And this time your left heel foot's going to come in line with the right sit bone. Make sure both sit bones are rooting down into the floor or into your blanket. And that left knee is kind of pointing forwards. So then you're hugging your right heel into the left shin. And we're going to turn to the right. So left arm hugs right knee. Keep that right knee pointing to the ceiling. And then drawing the belly through into a twist. Hand of the head still rises. So just make sure you change sides. Yeah, that's it. So there's a gentle pressure into the hands to draw the torso through deeper into the twist. But make sure you're not starting to lean back and look at the floor. So keeping the spine really tall. And take a deeper breath. Unravel when you're ready. Come back into Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet together. And you can have the blanket ready for your head, so just shift it behind you. You could take your hips forward if, like me, you ended up not in the middle of your mat. So then we're going to come down into Supta Baddha Konasana, so lying down on the back. Make sure the back of the head is nice and supported, back of the neck long. And bring the arms to the sides, shoulder blades hug into the back of the heart so you feel open and broad in the collarbones, the chest. And start to let the legs relax. You can keep the feet where they are, or you can try moving the heels closer to your body or even further away. See what feels really good for the low back of the pelvis. Wants to be able to relax into the floor. And can you let go of the weight of the legs? If it feels too strong, then just bring the knees together, walk the feet wide, and rest the knees together. It's another option just to let the back release. So we're just going to take a last twist here. Just bring the left knee over to rest on top of the right knee. So we roll onto the right hip. Keep the arms relaxed. Collarbones open to the ceiling, and if it feels good, roll the head to the left. You can make it deeper by just drawing the knees up towards your right elbow and rooting that top knee down with your right hand. But make sure there's no tension creeping into the upper body. Breathe into your twist, starting to slow and soften the breath a bit. Come back onto the back, feet on the floor, just letting the pelvis rock a little bit. Take the left knee down and then fold the right knee on top of the left. So you roll onto the left hip, gaze to the right. If you want to, you can just hug the knees up and let the left hand anchor your right knee down. Move into the twist, let the body settle, let the breath soften. One more breath this side. And then we'll start to come into Shavasana, feel final relaxation. You can keep the support underneath your head, make sure you feel really comfortable in the upper body. And then try taking the legs straight, feet as wide as the sticky mat, toes rolling out. If that's too strong for your back, then have the knees bent. And you can try feet wide, knees resting together if it works for you. Choose what feels the best option for you to totally let go here. Release any tension around the face, the jaw, the brow. As you let the breath soften, feel that sense of spaciousness around the heart, the chest. Opening the way for your heart to absorb a little more loving kindness. Just before we end, I'm just going to ask you to breathe in a little mantra for the day of just 3 simple words. As you breathe in, I am enough. See if you can breathe that deeply into your heart. I am enough. I am enough. I do enough. I have enough. I am enough. Just take a couple of breaths. See if you can let those words absorb into your heart. Starting to breathe a little more deeply. Bring the mantra deep into your soul. And when you're ready, start to hug the knees in. Rock if that feels good. And then take your time to start to come up to seated. Bring your hands together in front of you. Great love and gratitude. Namaste.